Welcome to For the Love of Books, a podcast by North Lanarkshire Libraries. Hi everyone, welcome back to the North Lanarkshire Libraries podcast For the Love of Books. My name is Chris Wilson, the E-Services Librarian, and at the moment we are about midway through, or just before midway through, Let's Go Easter, which is our big Easter event over the course of the spring holidays. And it's a great opportunity to get the kids into the libraries with some fun activities for them to take part in. And I thought we'd focus on a little bit of that today, highlight some of the great events that are coming up in week 2 of that event, and find out if there's anything that you guys might want to bring along the kids to experience a fun activity in the library. So before we get any further, I'll let you know a little bit what the plan is. I have managed to get hold of a couple of the staff from various areas in the library service, and they will give us a little bit of a rundown as to what's coming up in their area. And also at the end, I'll give a little bit of an extra mention to a couple of events from some of the other areas where I didn't manage to get a chance to speak to any of the staff. So they get a little bit of a push as well, and you get to discover what's happening in those areas too. So do listen up and you'll find out lots and lots more. First up, we have got Jennie and Pari from Coatbridge Library to tell us all about their dinosaur event and a little bit more as well. So that should be a fun one to start off with. So welcome guys to our podcast, and it's always great to have new voices on our podcast as well. So Jennie and Pari, thank you very much for joining me. And you guys are here to tell us a little bit about some of the events that are going to be happening in the second week of Let's Go Easter at Coatbridge Library. So what are some of the, there's 4 events left to go, I think, at Coatbridge Library, is that right? Which are you guys looking most forward to doing in that second week?
So I'm really excited about the craft as well as the story. So we're going to do a dino activity, a dino craft activity. And Jennie is the craft person.
I have seen some of the products of some of the new trick stuff. You've been involved in that, Jennie, haven't you? The new tricks, some of the stuff is fantastic. It's very, very good.
So I'm mostly looking for an excuse to get in on the craft action myself a little bit. If it's never too busy, so I can do it too. But yeah, Jennie does a fantastic job with crafting. That's what I'm working for.
Fantastic. What about yourself, Jennie?
We're going to be making some dinosaur masks. Making some dinosaur eggs, which is really cool. And then there might be a dinosaur story activity afterwards.
Fantastic.
The dinosaur stomp.
With dinosaur singing and dancing. So both Jennie and I are semi-obsessed with dinosaurs. So we just basically, any excuse to be our dinosaur is set.
Well, I mean, my son is dinosaur mad. So it was Dinosaur Stomp that caught my eye instantly out of all the events that we've got going on at Let's Go Easter for sure. And so it's great to hear some of the plans here. So there's going to be a kind of like a story. We've got kind of some dinosaur crafts and things like that. Is that basically kind of what's happening for it? Yeah, fantastic. And that sounds like if going by my son, I'm sure there'll be lots of folk who'll be absolutely obsessed with that and will love going it. And I did hear that you guys probably will be dressed in your most dinosaur-y attire as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. Like I said, any excuse to get out all our dinosaur themed stuff, which we have quite a lot of.
We do now,
Fantastic. And I think that our podcast listeners will definitely agree that there needs to be a photograph of that on social media. So I think we should definitely get that organised, guys, and get that out there for after the event's happened, because I think the world needs to see you guys dressed up as dinosaurs, basically. I think that's a good thing to have. So we've also got a couple of Easter book bugs to go as well. Is there any kind of Easter themed songs that little ones will be singing amongst that? And don't worry, I'm not expecting you to sing them during the podcast. I won't put you on the spot and make you do that. But is there any kind of Easter themed songs that will be a little bit different from the usual book bug songs?
We will definitely be doing a lot of bunny songs. There's sleeping bunnies, but there'll be some loud bunnies as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about Book Bug, I think, is that it kind of breaks that barrier of the kind of quietness of the library. Like, it lets you have that little bit of fun, a little bit of noise, And there's nothing better than hearing the kind of said kids get involved in the singing and things like that in Bookbug, which I think is a really good thing. So that sounds fantastic, and it sounds really good. And finally, Tiny Tales is am I right to think it's kind of almost like Bookbug for slightly older kids? Is that right? Is that a good description, or is there a little bit more to it than that?
Well, yeah, slightly different because we tend to have more books
Yeah.
in Tiny Tales. So we'll read maybe 2 or 3 books depending on how many kids we get.
Yeah.
In over Easter, I don't know, we might get more kids than we usually do. So we sort of play it by ear, but we love the sort of familiar elements of Bookbug. We love incorporating that with the rhymes and the singing and the getting up and doing stuff together with the grown-ups. So it's not just the kids singing, the grown-ups are very much encouraged to drown out specifically my really bad singing voice. But it's really great fun. And the books as well, sometimes we get the kids to choose the books themselves, like that they want us to read. So it's as much as a surprise for us as it is for them. And yeah, with some singing and dancing, like again, which Jennie is great at the rhymes and the singing, so I just follow her lead there.
It sounds like you
hopefully have some Easter stories for Tiny Tales.
Yeah.
Again, featuring bunnies and dinosaurs.
Bunnies, dinosaurs, and Easter eggs and things like that. It's all good for what's happening at Coatbridge over the next few days. So yeah, that sounds fantastic, guys. Thank you very much for coming along and telling us a little bit more about it. It sounds like you're going to have some fantastic fun, and I'm sure all the kids that come along to the events will have some fun too. And if any of the listeners are bringing their kids along to the dinosaur stop, I'm sure Jennie and Pari would love to have them dressed up as dinosaurs as well. So do feel free to come along dressed up in your most dinosaur-y like attire that you can find, and you won't feel out of place because Jennie and Pari will be dressed up just exactly the same way. So you won't feel out of place at all. So thank you, guys. That's great to hear a little bit more about Coatbridge and what's been happening at Let's Go Easter, and have fun when it comes.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having us.
I absolutely love dinosaurs. My son loves dinosaurs. We are a big dinosaur family in this household. So I think that dinosaur stomp event at Coatbridge is going to be an absolutely fantastic one. And it's definitely one worth getting along to, as is the other Coatbridge events as well. And up next, we have got Roslyn from Wishaw Library, who's going to tell us a little bit about the craft activities that have been happening so far in that area, and also what is still to come in the following week. Hi, Roslyn. Thank you for coming back to the podcast. You have been on it before. We've had a few newbies from Coatbridge talking just a little bit earlier to me, but you've been on here before. You've done this before, haven't you? You're an old hand to the podcast.
Well, I don't know about being an old hand, Chris, but yes, I have done it before. So fingers crossed it goes well today.
So we're almost into week 2 of Let's Go Easter, and it's proved quite popular again. It's always great to see kids coming into the library and enjoying these kind of activities, isn't it?
Yes, it's fantastic to have lots of children having fun in the library. Although I haven't said that, I think a lot of the adults that bring them along have almost just as much fun as the children do.
Yeah, definitely.
Where the crafts are concerned, because who doesn't like crafts? And as you said, it's almost week 2 of the Easter events, and so we've already had a lot of events this week, which have been fully booked and very popular. We've already had in Wishaw an event. We made hopping Easter bunnies. They were decorated and used to play a game, and also created Easter chicks using card and paper plates. So I mean, they were very popular events. In Cleland, we've had making Easter bunnies, making dinosaur Easter egg magnets, and also Easter sun catchers. So there was a lot to do in Cleland. And today in Wishaw we have an Easter scavenger hunt. So they search for Easter egg clues and they can win a chocolate prize.
Fantastic. It sounds as if everything going so fantastically well so far. And Wishaw Library, we've got coming up on the 13th another Easter craft activity. So what sort of things are the kids maybe going to get up to if they come along to that one?
Okay, next Thursday on the 13th, it's at 2:30. You can create a super spring picture. This is using egg box flowers, coloured buttons, fluffy pipe cleaners, paper leaves, and lots of imagination required as well.
Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. And
Yeah.
also sounds so that we might make the cleaners a little bit unhappy about having to clear up some of the mess that might be on the floor after that one, I think.
Oh, no, we always clear up after ourselves. We're always very good. But the flowers themselves are stuck on a card background to create the picture. There is another. Oh,
sorry.
I was going to say, it doesn't stop there. The fun doesn't stop. We're also making an Easter chick or an Easter bunny using cardboard cutouts, which are then covered with wool to create either a feather or fur effect.
Right.
And then you can decorate these as you wish, using things like googly eyes and pom-poms, that type of thing.
Sounds
So
fantastic.
all the usual stuff.
Yeah, I used to always get a bit paranoid about the amount of glitter that ended up everywhere in the library after a craft session.
I know.
But,
The cleaners don't like glitter, but children do.
Children definitely do it. It gets everywhere, but whenever they get out. But that sounds fantastic, and lots of creativity to get going on with whenever that session comes along at Wishaw Library. So it sounds absolutely brilliant. And the day before that as well, there's also going to be an Easter book bug as well, isn't there? So, which it's always very, very popular, and I know you guys at Wishaw regularly have quite a lot of sessions, and it's just such a great activity, book bug, isn't it? It's always a great thing to have in the libraries.
Yeah, yes, we've always been so well attended in all our book bug sessions, and again, in the first week of the Easter holidays, we've had sessions in each of the libraries in the Wishaw area. So that's Wishaw, Shotts, Newmains and Cleland. And in the second week, yes, we will have another book bug session in Wishaw. So they're all very popular. Children and adults really enjoy joining in all the songs and the rhymes and the actions. So we'll try and have a few kind of more Easter-based songs and actions to do.
I think one of the bright things about BookBug as well is just actually for the other customers in the library who can kind of browse about while listening to the kids singing in the background, because I think it's such a unique little moment in the library to hear that kind of thing going on, I think, which has always been a lovely wee thing.
Yeah, well, that's true. And if they're regulars, then they could probably join in.
Yeah. The songs do tend to stick in your head a little bit, so I'm sure that some people who are in regularly will know some of the words that go along with some of the rhymes and songs and stuff like that are regular BookBug songs. So yeah, definitely.
That's true, and you can see the benefits of the book bug sessions completely, whether it's it's the social development of the children, or you can see them bonding with either their parent or their grandparent, whoever brings them along.
Yeah,
it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So it's quite a beautiful thing to see, actually, in some cases, and it's just a lovely thing that we can bring to people and have that for them, and of course it's free to come along to all the time as well. Now, Wishaw isn't the only place to be getting crafty though over the next few days. There's also an Easter craft and egg hunt going on at Shotts Library too. Is that right?
That's correct. That will be on Thursday as well, Thursday the 13th, again at 2:30. So if you're in the Shotts area, then please come along. What's going to happen first of all is we are going to have a scavenger hunt for children to complete, and if they find the clues that will be hidden around the library and solve a phrase, that's what they've to look for. They've to find a phrase.
Okay.
They will get a sweet as a reward. So I imagine it will be a chocolate sweet. It will be a chocolate treat.
And who doesn't
So-
want one of those? Let's face
Yeah,
it.
well,
So that's worth coming along just for that on its own.
Exactly. And we also will have a selection of crafts, such as making Easter peg eggs, paper plate bunny masks, and there will be some Easter sun catchers as well for the wee ones to colour in. So there'll be
Fantastic.
something for everyone, I think.
That sounds great. And so it sounds like the Wishaw area's got some fantastic events happening as well, and it's really good for you to come along, Roslyn, and tell us a little bit more about them.
Not a problem.
And I hope that everyone who comes along has a great time at those events and enjoys the rest of Let's Go Easter in Wishaw.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Chris.
Up next, I've got Hilary from Motherwell Library, who is going to be telling us a little bit more about Code Club. Now, the last episode of the podcast, we did focus a lot on Code Club, and it's one of the most exciting things I think we're doing at the moment. This is just another little update from Hilary about what's happening in the Motherwell area regarding Code Club, and we'll also find out some of her favourite projects that you can do using the Scratch program that we use for the Code Club sessions. So listen up and you'll find out a little bit more about that. Hi Hilary, welcome back to the podcast. It was only 2 weeks ago since we've had you on talking about Code Club, but I thought we'd get a wee slight update on what's happening with the Code Club project for Let's Go Easter in particular, because we are focusing on Let's Go Easter for this podcast. So we do have a session at Motherwell Library for Let's Go Easter, don't we?
We do, on Thursday the 13th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're also going to run one in Shotts that week as well, on Tuesday the 11th at 2:30.
Fantastic. And I think that we've talked about last week that the aim of the Motherwell one is really to kind of gauge interest in the hope of getting a kind of future kind of regular club going in Motherwell. Is that right?
Yeah, we're hoping to start one up in the near future. And I know I've said that before, near future, but we're just not quite ready to confirm dates there. But we've established a good code club in Wishaw, in the south area at the moment, and we've got others running in the likes of Cumbernauld and Coatbridge and places like that. So it's about time that we got one back up and running in Motherwell. So we're kind of hopeful, as long as colleagues don't take fright after running this one, and I can still persuade them afterwards that this is a really good idea. But I'm sure actually that from colleagues' perspective as well, having had the chance to do a taster session, they'll all be buzzing about it and ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, like we touched on last time, I do think it's one of the most exciting things that we've got going on just now in the library service, and it's definitely a little bit different. And the kids seem to be loving it as well, that have been getting involved in the other areas and stuff. So it's definitely something that's kind of catching the imagination a little bit with other people.
It definitely does, and like you say, the minute you get started with it, and I think it for both the kids and staff, actually, it's just that getting over that first hurdle of any sort of fear about what you're going to be doing and that unknown world. I think once you get into it and you get started creating, you see how easy it is to create. It becomes a lot easier to imagine it.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people think coding, they think all the lines of code that you see on things, on the HTML and things like that sort of stuff, that can be quite confusing to read, and if you don't know what you're looking for. But the Scratch programming is much more user-friendly than that, isn't it?
It definitely is. If you think about that traditional code that you might have seen, but Scratch allows us to almost build it like Lego bricks. So it's got preset bits of code that we make some changes to and play around with numbers or angles or sounds, colours, costumes, all these kind of things. But we can still clip them all together, and you see the results very, very quickly without having to sit and type lots of stuff in and a single mistake making lots of trouble later on. So we'll save that for other events.
Yeah, no, it's definitely is something quite user-friendly. And whenever I've had a look at it recently, one of the projects that I did quite recently was kind of making my son's name flash about screen and stuff like that, and do different things when you clicked on the letters and things like that. And it was really simple to do. It was dead easy to kind of make it happen. And so I do think that people will find it quite kind of user-friendly whenever they kind of do get a chance to see it hands-on, and shouldn't be as afraid of it as what they might be at the fear of the word coding, as some might have from that.
Definitely, and I think as adults we tend to put that fear and that barrier up with code and also with numbers, but I think very often actually the youngsters just need a little bit of do this, do that, and off they go. And I'm always struck about how quickly they get to the bits that say, go and see what you can do with this, and they become extremely imaginative and creative. And suddenly that, like you say, that if you had that name bouncing around the screen, give it to the youngsters and suddenly you've got sound effects in behind it, and bowls of cheesy puffs flying across the screen. There's something about that cheesy puffs, I've talked about it before. It tends to always make an appearance somewhere. But yeah, I think the youngsters, kids, really do find it very intuitive to use.
Yeah, and there's literally thousands of projects and stuff like that you can make with it and things. So what are some of your favourite ones that you've came across that you really like?
I actually like the very first one that we tend to use, which is called Rock Band.
Yeah.
A couple of reasons. One is that it allows us to get straight over that fear about making a noise in libraries. And because you're programming drums and singers very quickly, so you're showing what you can do with the music, and anybody who comes in and says, "Oh, I have to be quiet in the library," well, actually, no, this deals with it right on day one, and we can we can be very tuneful, or we can just make a lot of noise. It works both ways. But no, I love that one because you very, very quickly can turn something into something very rhythmic and very musical, or even like use computerized robotic sounds in it. Yeah. And so you're very quickly learning how to add what they call sprites, the little characters, and make some changes to blocks of code, and play around with the sound effects, because in the sound tab you can take the sound effect as it comes in, but you can modulate it, you can reverse it, you can cut and paste bits of it over and over and over again. And once people get a little bit of a play with that, it leads to some great sound, not just in that one but on all the other activities that follow. So that has to be one of my favourites, I have to say, right at the beginning of the project.
Well, hopefully then, if whenever it gets to the point for the Motherwell Code Club gets up and running, there'll be lots of little rock band projects happening in that, and the kids can get a good bit of fun doing that. So thank you, Hilary, for coming along and telling us a little bit more about what's coming up in the Code Club side of things, especially with the Let's Go Easter focus. And it's hopefully the kids will get a good chance to have a lot of fun in the library using some fantastic technology.
Yep, hopefully. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So there you go, guys. Some fantastic information there again about Code Club from Hilary. Thank you to everyone who came and talked to me about their events that are coming up next week. And just to give you a little bit more information about some of the other areas as well. Up in the Cumbernauld area and Cumbernauld and Kilsyth area and Condorret Library, they're going to have an Easter book bug, which is a fantastic little chance to come along and hear some Easter themed songs that are kind of using the usual format for book bug. singing some Easter songs and stuff like that. And that's going to be on Tuesday, the 11th of April at 10:15. Do call the library to book that, and you can call them on 01236 736 615. It's a fantastic event for anyone age sort of 0 to 4 age, and if you've never been to Bookbug before, then it's definitely one that's definitely worth getting along to and catching that kind of for that. I think a great activity for that age range, and that is going to be a fantastic little event. In Kilsyth, there is going to be a Easter crafternoon session where you've got a chance to make peekaboo clothes peg eggs. So that's quite a tongue twister to try and say, and some fingerprint bunnies and chicks, and design your own Easter egg colourings. So there's lots of fun happening in Kilsyth as well, and that's going to be on Tuesday, the 11th of April at 2 p.m. And that's kind of aimed at sort of 5 to 8 year olds from that, and it's a free event. But you do have to kind of call ahead and book a little place there as well. So if you can give them a call on 01236 632 880, and they will book you in for that free event. And it's going to be an absolutely fantastic time, especially for anyone who likes getting a bit crafty and getting a bit arty and making some stuff. And so that's a great little one to entertain the kids during the Let's Go Easter time as well. There's lots and lots of Easter craft stuff going on in some of the libraries, and at Bellshill Cultural Centre, for example, there's going to be a Easter craft drop-in session as well on Wednesday, the 12th of April at 2 p.m. Probably similar kind of things to the Kilsyth thing, maybe not exactly the same, but sort of lots of great craft activities. You don't need to book to go along to that one, but if you do want to call the library to find out a little bit more, you can do so. And again, that's going to be aimed at sort of about 5 to 11 years old. And again, just a great chance to come along and get crafty in the library and get sort of the glue, glitter, pens, crayons, everything. It'll all be there. You'll be able to make a fantastic mess in the library and make some great creations, I'm sure, at the end. And of course, you get then something to take away as well, so that's always good as well. So that's going to be a great chance to kind of have some fun in the library too. Sticking with the kind of crafty theme as well, there's going to be spring crafts at Airdrie Library too, and that's going to be on Tuesday, the 11th of April at 2 p.m, aimed at 4 to 12 year olds. And again, it's just a great chance to come along, make some great crafts in the library and have some fun. So you can call the library to book to come to that as well on 01236 758 070. Basically, Let's Go Easter is a fantastic chance to come in, experience some great activities within the library. It's all free in our library service. There are events happening in the museum sector as part of Let's Go Easter as well. There is some charges that apply to that. But again, if you haven't checked those out, they are worth looking at as well. It's a fantastic festival over the Easter time to just encourage people to get out and about and have some fantastic events and sort of local services. And it's going to be a fantastic time for anyone that does come along. If you want to see if there's any other events happening, because there is some more amongst the other places that we haven't had a chance to mention, you can do so by going to culturenl.co.uk/festivals/let's go, and you'll see a table full of all the events that's been going on and going to be happening next week as well. So that's a great way how to find out the whole entire listing of the event. We do hope you have had a good time listening to this podcast, and we hope you have fun if you do come along to any of the events as well. So that's fantastic. If you have enjoyed this, do leave us some feedback on Twitter by using the hashtag FLB podcast, or by dropping us a little email to librarypodcast@northland.gov.uk, and you can tell us a little bit what you thought of this episode too. And if you do pop along to any of the craft sessions and make something fantastic, we would always like to see it online. So do pop on Twitter, take a little picture of what you've managed to create, and share it with us on Twitter as well, or using @librariesNL as well, because we'd love to do it. If you do that, we will share it on and let the world see your fantastic creations during Let's Go Easter. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode, guys. We will be back again soon with more podcast episodes, and we will see you then. Bye for now, guys.